Russian President Vladimir Putin has said he does not see any point in meeting Volodymyr Zelensky after the Ukrainian leader requested face-to-face talks over ending the war between the two nations. Zelensky sent an open letter on Thursday calling for direct negotiations with Putin, writing that it was wrong to simply wait for the war, which began with Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, to become the focus of US attention once more.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin has turned down an offer for in-person talks with his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky, saying he sees no point in such a meeting for now. Putin delivered the remarks during Russia's flagship economic forum in St. Petersburg on Friday, a day after Zelensky shared an open letter appealing for a face-to-face meeting in which the two leaders could hash out an end to the war.
Israel is still attacking Lebanon. Even after the United States announced another ceasefire, Hezbollah has continued fighting too, though it was not part of talks between the Israeli and Lebanese governments in Washington.
A federal judge has struck sweeping restrictions imposed by the administration of US President Donald Trump on immigration processing for 39 countries. The ruling on Friday by District Judge John McConnell condemned the restrictions imposed in November 2025, following the Washington, D.C. shooting of 2 National Guard members. SpaceX has lined up another compute deal ahead of its historic IPO, this time with Google. The company announced the deal in a regulatory filing on Friday. Under the terms of the deal, Google will pay SpaceX $920 million per month from October 2026 through June 2029 for access to approximately 110,000 NVIDIA GPUs, CPUs, memory, and other related components. As summer begins and mosquitoes return in force, artificial intelligence is now being used in an attempt to fight them. Inventor Stephen Cheng has developed a series of prototypes that use machine learning to identify, track, and kill mosquitoes with lasers. He has been sharing the project on X, where he has posted videos of the mobile mosquito defense system.
Shenzhen-based company Star Navi is selling radar-absorbing coatings that could make drones harder to detect and track on modern radar systems. The technology is being marketed through the XRAM C series and is aimed at reducing the radar cross-section of drones, aircraft and naval platforms. The coatings are being offered in standard containers and packages that include spray equipment.
Microsoft has introduced autopilots, a new category of AI agents designed to work autonomously in the background and act on behalf of users inside Microsoft 365. The company announced the new agents at Microsoft Build 2026, where Chief Executive Satya Nadella introduced Scout as Microsoft's first autopilot. Scout is built into Copilot and Microsoft 365 and is designed to help users reduce routine coordination work. The government of Azad, Jammu and Kashmir on Friday declared the Joint Awami Action Committee, JA, a proscribed organisation, and placed it under the first schedule of the region's Anti-Terrorism Act 2014. The notification by AJK's Home Department said the group is engaged in terrorism and has acted in a manner prejudicial to peace and security of the state. The government on Friday cut the petrol price by 4 per litre and kept the diesel rate unchanged with immediate effect for the week ending June 12, owing to changes in global prices over the past week. Accordingly, the ex-depot price of high-speed diesel, HSD, will remain fixed at 380.78 tonnes per litre for another week. The government made adjustments in taxes and other levies, which is otherwise considered on the whole price, some on higher side. Washington. The US Congress is moving to tighten oversight of Pentagon leadership decisions and limit unilateral military action against Iran in a rare bipartisan effort that underscores renewed tensions over presidential war powers and civilian control of the military. On Thursday, the House Armed Services Committee adopted a bipartisan provision that would require the Pentagon to notify Congress within 5 days whenever a senior military officer is dismissed, along with a written explanation for the decision. Norway's Crown Princess Mette-Marit has been placed on a waiting list for a lung transplant. The country's royal household has said Mette-Marit, who suffers from an incurable lung disease, has suspended official duties and will have the operation as soon as a donor becomes available, it said.
Mogadishu, Somalia. Fighting between government forces and opposition fighters that paralysed parts of Somalia's capital, Mogadishu for more than 2 days has eased, with the federal government declaring that it has restored order. The violence erupted on Wednesday, and the government declared the districts of Abdi Aziz and Halwadag calm on Friday.
On the coastal road in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza, 7 university students, 4 in medicine, 2 in dentistry, 1 in software engineering, are behind the counter of an ice cream parlour. One student takes the orders, hastily filling ice cream cups, adding nuts and toppings before handing them over to a line of customers with a smile. Another moves between tables in the small seating area, serving customers, while a third manages the kitchen, keeping everything in order. A fourth handles the accounts, processing every transaction electronically since cash has largely disappeared from Gaza.
An international coalition of lawyers has filed a lawsuit with a top African human rights body seeking to block deportations to Equatorial Guinea from the United States. The lawsuit, filed on Friday against Equatorial Guinea at the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, specifically targets a so-called third country agreement between the West African nation and the administration of US President Donald Trump. Well, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz says that the European Union plans to initiate a gradual integration process for 6 Western Balkan countries wishing to join the bloc. The clear message of today is, and will remain, we want you, and we want this region and the states within it to become members of the European Union soon. Merz told reporters in the Montenegrin coastal town of Tivat after a summit between the bloc's leaders and their Western Balkan counterparts.
Loading the player. While the AI fundraising machine keeps breaking its own records, some founders are building in the other direction. Electric e-bikes, a Phoenix, Arizona-based company known for its practical and affordable XP series electric bikes, has launched 3 new brands so far this year. Juiced Bikes relaunch a new Juiced Power Sports brand, and now a premium adventure brand called Monarch, an expansion strategy that runs counter to the wave of bankruptcies that have plagued the sector. Together, Electric has put about $10 million Initiative Z, CEO, toward these initiatives. CEO Levi Conlow told TechCrunch. Hidden among the architectural landmarks of General Motors' sprawling Warren Tech Center outside Detroit is a new cornerstone of the automaker's $900 million bet on its electric future. The nondescript 500,000 square foot pair of off-white boxes, which houses GM's new battery cell development center, might not look like much. But locked inside is the key to GM's plan to slash the cost of its EVs by nearly 10%.
The tax structure in Pakistan has literally become a case study in unequal treatment that shows 2 sides of a dark reality. One for easily heavily taxed salaried workers and another for sectors that remain lightly documented and lightly taxed. The government a short while ago announced a simplified tax regime for shopkeepers, but nothing for the salaried class. I'm not Mr. Mifta, but here goes.
Bots have passed human traffic online for the first time in the internet's history, driven by the rapid rise of AI agents that browse and act on websites on behalf of users. Cloudflare CEO and co-founder Matthew Prince said the shift happened faster than he expected. He had previously predicted that bot traffic would overtake human traffic by 2027, but the latest data shows the crossover has already happened.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang has confirmed that RTX Spark is not a one-off chip, with the company already planning future versions called N2X and N3X. The confirmation comes days after NVIDIA introduced RTX Spark at Computex 2026, positioning the new chip as a platform for laptops and compact desktops built around local AI agents, creator workflows and gaming.
Islamabad, Pakistan on Friday categorically rejected India's remarks regarding upcoming elections in Gilgit-Baltistan, GB, calling them baseless and part of a carefully choreographed attempt to conflate fact with fiction. General elections in GB are scheduled for Sunday, June 7, after a 4-month delay attributed to harsh winter weather. PPP and other political parties have staged a series of rallies across the region and ramped up efforts to garner support ahead of the polls.
The Gilgit-Baltistan Election Commission on Friday announced the end of election campaigning 48 hours before polling day, prohibiting all election-related activities in the region, according to a press release. The general elections for the GB's Legislative Assembly are scheduled on June 7, after a 4-month delay. Astronauts on the International Space Station, ISS, were ordered to shelter in an attached spacecraft after the structure suddenly started leaking more air. 5 of the 7 crew were directed to go into the docked SpaceX shuttle Dragon Freedom on Friday afternoon and were braced for a potential evacuation.
Lebanese President Joseph Aoun delivered a searing rebuke to Iran on Friday, accusing it of using his country as a bargaining chip against the wishes of the Lebanese people in the conflict with the United States and Israel. In a rare and exclusive interview with CNN's Christiane Amanpour, President Aoun declared that he is committed to doing whatever it takes to save his country from conflict, and that the Lebanese people are fed up with war between Israel and Hezbollah, a heavily armed Iranian-backed proxy that has built strong domestic support by portraying itself as the defender of southern Lebanon and the Palestinian people.
The United States is planning to centralize visa processing across Africa, reducing the number of embassies and consulate applications from about 50 locations to roughly 20. According to an internal U.S. Department of State memo cited in U.S. media reports, under the proposal, routine visa many posts and consulate are expected to remain open and concentrated in smaller regional hubs. Embassies are expected to remain open and continue their diplomatic work. Ireland has barred Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir and Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich from visiting the country, citing their conduct towards pro-Palestinian activists and support for policies that would displace Palestinians from their homeland. Ireland's Prime Minister Michael Martin, known as the Taoiseach, confirmed the move on Friday, saying the 2 far-right ministers had advocated positions that amounted to a desire to see the elimination of Palestinians from Palestine.
Alexander Zverev moved to the verge of a long-awaited first Grand Slam title as the second seed saw off Jakub Mensik in 4 sets to reach his second French Open final. German will face either 10th seed Flavio Cobolli or his fellow Italian Matteo Arnaldi on Sunday after securing a 7-5, 6-2, 3-6, 6-3 victory over Mensik on Friday.
The United States Senate has passed a bill long sought by US President Donald Trump to provide an additional $70 BN in funding to his controversial immigration enforcement drive. The bill passed early Friday morning will provide funding to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and Customs and Border Patrol, CBP, throughout Trump's term, adding to a massive windfall for both Department of Homeland Security agencies in a tax bill passed last year.